Hello, Timeless Gamer Crew. We're talking JRPGs. I've played over 100 RPGs from the 16-bit era on both the Sega Mega Drive and Super Nintendo, as well as a few other bits and bobs here and there. But out of all those, I would definitely recommend any beginner wanting to get into JRPGs, especially the subgenre that is strategy JRPGs, should be checking out the Shining Force series. The three games we're going to concentrate on here, the Shining Force series, Shining Force 1, 2, and Shining Force CD. We'll go in reverse order of quality. For me, Shining Force CD is the weakest. It's a very straightforward strategy game. There's no exploration or anything else that the Shining Force games are usually known for. And it's a compilation of all the Game Gear games. Not all the Game Gear games, all the Game Gear Shining Force games, I should say. Not every Game Gear game going. But the game is still very good. It offers a lot of good battles. It's very creative with some of its battles. It takes a while to get going. It's split in several books, and the first part of the first book is a bit slow and boring. The game's way too easy, like ridiculously easy. So even if you're a beginner, put this on its hardest setting because it is frictionless otherwise. The hardest setting feels like a normal difficulty. So it's definitely for me. This that's why this game is one probably to visit after you've checked out Shining Force 1 and 2 if you want more Shining Force. So we'll move on to Shining Force 1, which is probably the best starting point. The Shining Force 1 has got a lovely art style. It's got a lovely soundtrack to it. And it's all really simple stuff. These battles, this type of strategy playing that they've implemented in these games is really straightforward and simplistic. You don't have to think about much. It's move, attack, maybe use your magic. There's not a whole lot more to it. But that's what makes it so easy to pick up and play. It's very accessible. And the first Shining Force game, it's just got a lovely tone to it, and it's got some fantastic battles. It's got some cracking battles. It's got my favourite battle out of the entire series, out of pretty much any strategy RPG actually, which is the Laser Eye battle. The Laser Eye battle, it will always stick with me as just a really great, clever, creative battle that I still love playing. It's just great. But the game's full of that, and what makes the entire what makes Shining Force 1 and 2 so fantastic is they both contain exploratory elements. You're not just stuck to battles, squad management. You get to do some role playing. You get to do some searching around, looking for hidden items. Most importantly, hidden characters. Both all your Shining Force games are a chocker full of hidden characters. That's one of the main draws of it. So that adds a lot of replayability to these games because you can play it. You play through your first playthrough, and if you miss characters, going back and discovering them, it adds an old dynamic to your squad. And that is, again, your Shining Force 1 and 2, and all these games, they're so replayable. They're ridiculously replayable because every time you play, you can experiment with different squad combinations. And people get the favourites. You play these games, and there's there are certain characters like Xylo and Peter that stand out as like must-have characters. But there's a lot there that seem a bit crap at first, and when you start leveling them up and powering them up, they're fantastic. So you just through that alone, you get lots of replayability. And Shining Force 1's probably its biggest fault is it's quite a slow-paced game. There's a lot of slow terrain, and it takes you some time to get into battle. So that for me does drag it down. Not anywhere near enough to not recommend playing it. It's still a great game regards that. It's kind of like in that 8 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10 if pacing is a big thing for you. But it's still a good game worth playing, and I'll definitely play it first before 2 because it sets things up nice. And even though they're not direct sequels as such, it adds a lovely flavour to playing two. There's a lot of little things that happen in one that if when you get them callbacks in number two, it's just very nice. But Shining Force 2 is the dog's bollocks. It really is the Mac Daddy. It takes what one does and it takes everything to another level. It is a supreme strategy RPG and supreme JRPG. It's faster paced for starters. It addresses all the faults of the first one. Any minor faults like that you might have, like with the user interface or anything like that, which there aren't many in the first, to be fair. But it still takes all that and improves it. It's really snappy. It's really clever. The battles have somehow got better. You know what I mean? You've got these wicked, epic battles. It's a bigger game. Again, there's more characters to find. There's more dynamics, and you've got multiple difficulties as well, which is just I just find that amazing. The amount of times I went back to this as a kid to replay it with different squads and different difficulties, because one actual cock-up that they did with Shining Force 2 is that they implemented two difficulties. One's called Super, one's called Ouch. And the Super difficulty makes the enemy a lot more powerful. But the Ouch difficulty gives the enemy better AI. So you've not just got hard and harder difficulties, you've actually got two different styles of hardness to go and revisit, which is again just adds more to it. And if that ain't enough, all right, you can enter a cheat where you can play your mate on it. You know what I mean? You can do a two player strategy RPG. What kind of magic and wickedness is this? What kind of sorcery is this? That is what it just makes. Shining Force 2 is just a supreme game. It's a top tier, absolutely fantastic game that everybody should be indulging in. But I would say check out Shining Force 1 first before you get into it, because it's worth playing and it sets it up lovely as well. And then if you're enjoying them too, definitely check out Shining Force CD. CD is nowhere near up to the standard of the first two games, but it's still a good game that offers you enough. It doesn't feel like a cash in. It doesn't feel like it's lazy. It's just not as well refined and pieced together. So Shining Force, honestly, if you're a beginner RPG player, or sorry, JRPG player, Shining Force is a must. Shining Force 2, oh man, I'm just thinking about it now. My balls are exploding with happiness. It's so good. Oh, keep it timeless. Ho ho.